Hello and welcome to day 2 of Gauntlet Week for Split 2 of the 2019 OPL. I am Nick Boy Richardson, and I am joined by a very friendly hand and a very lovely shirt. Spawn, Rusty, how are you boys?
How are you?
I'm good, actually. Now that through the first step of the gauntlet, surely it's only smooth sailing from here.
Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Nothing could go wrong.
How are the Order boys feeling?
I think pretty good.
Yeah.
They're all chilling upstairs. They found Swiffer's phone, which is good. That went walkabouts earlier this morning. Could have been a disaster, to be honest. But yeah, I think they're pretty good. And coming into this match, certainly a matchup we should be more comfortable with than the Direwolves and the Bombers. We know this team very, very well. We've played against them for years now. Counterparts of this team have been on our team. And I think that this is going to be a really exciting match today.
Rusty, do you reckon if you lost your phone in the morning and were playing a big match in the afternoon, it's enough to tilt you?
I mean, without going too deep into a conversation, you know, this is a generation where we're too attached to them.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
Yeah.
It would probably really, really piss me off and I'd be very stressed.
It's the little things, right? How do you listen to music?
Totally.
Like, if that's how you get in the zone, like, if you read to get in the zone.
We
like,
don't have iPods
we're so
anymore.
I even just put mine down the side of the couch while I'm here.
Oh,
Like, it's just attached to me
we've all got
24/7.
them.
Yeah.
I've got it in my pocket. What am I going to do with it? Like, answer it? I'm currently getting messages. I'm not going to do anything with those on broadcast. Why do I even get out of here? I mean, how would we screen calls from our parents? You know, you just need those phones. That's what I'm saying. Welcome to day 2. I'm excited for day 2. You've tipped the hand. You've spoiled the surprise. The Bombers are here. There's a schedule. It's basically 3 to 5 games tonight, depending on how we go. Bombers versus Order. And Bombers, you know, they took it out last split. Some slight changes to the roster since then, but have been looking good.
I mean, not just slight changes. You would have said strict downgrades, right? It was the team that won the split pretty handily. It's a team now that's gone for a former mid laner, now AD carry Luch, really come into his own towards the end of the split. But all of these things can't compare to, say, FBI, who's playing for the Golden Guardians and is now in the LCS, right? So they've had to face a lot of adversity here, Bombers. But behind their new coaching staff in Soul Strikes, they really have come together and really did elevate towards the end of the split, where they effectively got a perfect game against the Chiefs, who are already waiting at MEO.
And I feel like we talk about Luch FBI a lot, but Volkan was rookie of the split.
Yeah.
And he's also over in Turkey right now, just slapping kids. Like, he's playing on the same team as GBM. They've made it into their playoffs as well. He's having a terrific tear. And he was also, in my opinion, you know, one of the linchpins of this team, really connected to the top side of the map. So I think, you know, Wilder coming in also is one of those players that today will be under the microscope, because Volkan was a monster in that best of 5 that the Bombers won the OPL with last split. Obviously, Order, nothing new here. We know what they're going to play. They're going to play Brawlers, mixed with a little bit of Glacials, probably, because that seems to be what the go is on this team. And
Maybe
they're
some
just
Phantoms.
Yeah, maybe a couple of Phantoms, and they're just going to try and really take over the game.
Jake just looked like death. I don't know what was going on. There's something in his eyes tonight. He's ready.
Yesterday, I spoke to Jake. He looked real fancy. I spoke about the flattelet he was wearing. He had it tucked in with long pants.
Please.
Today. Same flattelet. Just regular shorts, not tucked in, messy hair.
Well, the funny thing is, all right, so this is purely for the viewers at home, and hopefully all the boys are not listening and they're getting ready for the game.
I would certainly
But we have multiple jerseys per player. Like, between 3 and 4. Like, per player.
Yep.
They all bought one. Sam didn't even bring one. Sam's just chilling in an Order top. And every single one of them were just pulling their tops out of their bag, kind of looking at it like, I don't want to put this on again. And like, they're all like, this smells. And I'm like, no, it should smell of victory.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to wear the same top for superstitious reasons, at least like get a good image in your head before you put the top back on, or just bring all your other tops. So, you know what? Maybe not on the best foot this morning as we got into the game.
That's totally true. Like, if you are not washing your clothes because of that,
Yeah.
it should be a point of pride.
Yes,
that it's
yeah.
terrible.
Correct.
You
But
should
you should
own
be
the
like,
stink.
it's like, it's so stiff, it doesn't even bend anymore. There's that much friggin' dumpling juice cracked into the fabric of my clothing that I can't even do anything about. That's a little Easter egg surprise for those of you who watched the broadcast yesterday. Of course, there is one reason why these two teams are going head to head. It's to make it through to the next day, and then those teams go head to head. That is to make it through to MEO, which is on next weekend. We've been talking about it the entire split. It is coming up, the Melbourne Esports Open. Get your tickets, melbourneesportsopen.com.au/tickets. We're going to have a great show. We've spoken about what we're going to do at this show. It's going to be a fun show.
And look, if you're from WA, or Brisbane or something like that,
One of
would
those.
like you to come over.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're in Sydney, there's literally no reason to stay in this hellhole of a state.
It's true.
Like you're a car, like not even a day car ride and like a 45-minute plane. Like there are trains that take you from Melbourne to
Hell,
Sydney.
if you're Mammoth, you could take a cab to Canberra and catch a short, bumpy flight to Melbourne.
Exactly right. I mean, they're really guys. If you're on the East Coast,
Stop slacking.
I will say, yeah, WA I can excuse. That's pretty far away.
Yeah.
Brisbane, Queensland, there is still no excuse. Let's be
Okay.
honest. It's still on the same coast. It's one plane trip all the way
There's like
down.
$60
You can do it
flights all the
easy.
time. Just do it. Do it,
New
you
Zealand.
cowards.
I reckon come.
It's just a quick trip.
They got nothing else to do there. What are you going to do? Look at all your natural beauty? You idiots. So please come along. We'd love to see you there. Okay. We saw the boys sitting down. I think we're ready to go. Today, we do want some Ask Nick boys to send in asknickboy@gmail.com. Yeah, we do.
We say we do, but we didn't do the segment yesterday.
Well, it's because we just ran out of time.
Oh, is that what it was? Blame Direwolves, guys. Couldn't take us to 5K.
Couldn't take us to 5 games. I had them all prep ready to go, so I've got some ones from yesterday. We've got some good ones, but send in more. asknickboy@gmail.com. I don't know. Do you have a theme? Friendship. Tell us your
The theme is friendship advice.
questions. Yep. All right. I need to talk to someone in HR. Let's throw it over to the desk.
Amazing. That was a fast turnaround. That was like 6 minutes.
What
Usually
is
it's much
going on
longer.
over there?
I don't know. I mean, do we ever really know?
No, it's I don't know. There's a vibe today.
There is a vibe today,
It
but
was an
I-
interesting one.
I think it's emanating from Jake personally.
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, I would
'Cause I,
absolutely.
it's
agree.
getting more and more warped on the couch, I feel. You know,
Yeah.
because yesterday was like awkward nervousness, right? And now it's just
And
like
now it's arrogant
int-
twat.
yeah. Honestly, could not put it better myself.
Well,
Let's
that's
get
okay.
into this best of 5. Bombers are going to be on a blue side coming into this first game of this
Yeah.
best of 5, and Order will be on red.
And of course, Order the known quantity coming into this one. Saw them play off against the Direwolves yesterday, 3-1 victory. Bombers going to do something the Direwolves did in the GP ban. What we've seen so far has been like a lot of scaling stuff from Tally up there, and Jake goes back to the Order Gauntlet runs and just starts picking up the blind pick Morgana, the Enchanters.
Yeah.
Whereas Bombers have had some time to sit back, I think, compared to what we saw from the Direwolves yesterday. Bombers are a team with more variance. And normally you talk about variance in terms of inconsistency, and that's not what I really mean. Direwolves are a very standard team, right?
Yeah.
And Bombers coming into this one, they have super strong solo laners. A bottom lane that has spent the entirety of this split growing, learning together, Luch learning the role, but also growing as a duo down there and a veteran with Rogue. And I think given their stylistic choices, Bombers are going to throw a lot more different stuff than Order saw yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you know, to that point, in the last like 3 weeks or so, Bombers have been consistently bringing majors to the bottom lane there for Luch.
Yep.
You know, it was like 80 carries up to a point. It's like, all right, well, Luch obviously has the propensity to move towards things like the Vladimir, which was banned against him a lot during the regular season, then wasn't towards the end of the split, and then showing people why they should be banned against him again. You know, that was literally what Lucio said in the interview with him. And it will be banned in this game, to that point. So, yeah, Vladimir gone, Gragas and Irelia banned away. Order taking that one out, and it's going to be first pick Syndra from the Bombers.
Already super interesting. Given what we saw yesterday from Order, you saw the priority that they actually had on this pickup here. And Ryoma Swiffer, we were kind of joking about it on the couch. These guys individually made skin bets on this champion. They've been playing Syndra matchups into each other for genuinely years here in the OPL, even before the OPL probably existed, when Ryoma was like back being a rookie, now is a mainstay. But this is going to be a very comfortable time for the two of them, and taking it away from Swift, it does make a lot of sense here in game number 1.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it was a big deal yesterday. He started getting banned against him as the series progressed against the Direwolves. Order going to be picking up the Jarvan early here alongside the Braum. We also had bans out from Bombers, just to recap those, Xayah, Kiana, and Gangplank.
Yeah, done their research here. Swiffer had huge priority on the Kiana. Xayah bans have been leveraged at Order the entire season. And in the one game they actually got to play the Xayah Rakan Lovers duo you saw was the last game of the series yesterday, and that was a very one-sided affair. Aatrox is going to be the lock-in here. Mimic has been an enormous Aatrox blinder up at the top side of the map. Wilder also can possibly pick up that champion, so it is flexible, but Bombers, this is basic stuff we've seen them do before, and just kind of doubling down on their strengths here into Order.
Yeah, for sure. You know, we've already mentioned like top and mid lane being big deals for them, and locking in those lanes very early on here, just super solid picks. Tam Kent will come out here as well for the bottom lane. So we will see if that will go alongside a mage. There's definitely a lot of flexibility down there for the Bombers.
Yeah, certainly is. 80 carry would be... actually, 80 carry on mid lane will probably be the lock-in here, and answer to Syndra before the second ban phase makes sense. Okay, and maybe completely out of left field, so an answer into potential Aatrox lock-in. Curious here. A lot of AD threats already picked up. The Java and the Renekton top side of the map. Obviously, mid-matchup changes that one, and a standard 80 carry will be the expected response here from Dream, but yeah, this is an interesting comp. I didn't expect the Renekton again up here for Tally. Was on the receiving end of a very rough game yesterday when he was on the Vladimir. You know, it was like Talia, Renekton just flash bullying him up there, but maybe wanting to do a similar thing to Mimic.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, like, I think the conversation yesterday was Order kind of have, like, a best-in-role champion, right? And it's, like, almost impossible to ban every one of those out. Like, Xayah, you take away, like, the Xayah-Rakan duo. Mid lane, obviously, you're looking at, like, Kiana and Gangplank as well. So these are very, like, targeted bans per role. But then we also saw, like, the Karthus in the second game from Tally, right? Which is why I was kind of surprised seeing, like, such an early lock-in of the Java, you know, instead of, like, feeding it out and being like, can we go something like the Karthus later on to the draft? But opting towards this is definitely looking toward levying those lanes and looking for that hard engage in the jungle while looking to have some flexibility with their solo lane. So it's interesting where the priority is coming in there.
It's one of those things as well. It was also like a blue side Karthus victory, and obviously Order being on the red side here. Maybe like in terms of priority, red side has the advantage of 3-pick and 5-pick, right? Where you get like the picks into 2 immediate bans to like get that one through. You take away 2 counters, or you just get straight up last pick, and it's one of those situations where Karthus maybe not high priority enough in one of those slots, but still if we get a chance, we'll be able to take that one. And yeah, the blind Braum is also the curious thing to me. If this was a flipped draft, and if it was Rogue coming into this one and blind picking Braum into Dream and Jake, like very expectedly you'd be getting hit with something like a Morgana, like a Nami, like a bully mage matchup, when the opposite is kind of true here. Tahm Kench got to go into that one, but that is a pick. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Jinx getting locked in here for Order. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Dream will be piloting that one, and yeah, I mean, obviously that's just a big hyper carry pick, but definitely risky.
And I feel like TFT skews everything, right? Like you see Warwick hovered in a draft phase, and it's like, oh, he looks like a normal champion. But no, he's just been utter garbage for years, and Jinx gets added to the mode, and you kind of see her everywhere, but has been seeing a little bit of a rise in the bottom lane recently, paired with the defensive tools of a Braum. Makes a lot of sense, but that's going to be a very swift answer from Luch. It's not quite a Cassio, but it is in the mage department.
Yeah, Sono locked in alongside the Tahm Kench from bottom lane here from the Bombers. I mean, again, not really a surprise that Luch is bringing the mages to the bottom lane, given that we have seen basically only mages from him in the last 3 or 4 weeks or so. And Lee Sin for Wilder, so actually got some proactivity in the jungle as well.
Yeah, and that was super important here. Happening. Is that my microphone?
It's your microphone? I don't know if it's not my microphone.
It's,
so,
okay, I don't know if...
All right, this is our solo cut. Yeah, we'll see if we can figure out what's going on with that, and hopefully it's also only on our end, because that is actually terrible. Hopefully we can maybe swap headsets and figure that out, but that might be awkward for the... We'll figure it out. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Order blast picking the Zoe here on red side as well, and that will be going over to Swiffer. So yeah. Pretty standard stuff here from Order. You know, if you're banning away a lot of mages in the mid lane, Talia got taken away, LeBlanc and the Kiana. It's not a surprise that he'd go back to something like the Zoe that we have seen previously in the split. We're just getting the final swap-ups here as well, as we also try and just fix Ejim. Do you want to just try and say something and see how it's going?
Yeah, does it
Okay.
work?
No.
I'm assuming, is that viewer facing? Is that just our headsets? I don't know.
Hopefully only my headset. Okay, we got a call from Duction. Gonna try and fix that during game. I just don't know if it's going out to people or not, because I can deal with it, right? But it is going out to people. All right, so all right, it's just me. How's it going, guys? This is our solo cast for our second Gauntlet game coming in here for Bombers and Order. So yeah, this is usually where I'd ask Ejim about the compositions, but now we have Lucho coming in. I don't know if he can talk either. We'll find out in a second. Hello, Lucho. How are you doing today? Why don't you try and say something?
No, I was just confused what Bryce was doing.
Disaster. Yeah, so apparently both headsets are just busted, so only I can speak.
Okay, yeah. I sound weird. Robot.
Yeah. We'll just give it a shot. Okay, we're gonna get you on microphone, so just hold fast. We're gonna try and do some on-the-fly technical solving here. But yeah, getting into this game, Bryce, what do you think about it? Okay, we're getting a microphone to Lucho.
Test.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, I can't hear myself, but yeah.
Yeah. But at least we're good. So we might not be able to get Bryce in this conversation, but at the very least, coming into this, I just want to ask you, we're expecting to play Order today, right? Because like going up against the Direwolves yesterday, the higher seed coming in, and Order, based on their performances, was this what you were expecting your matchup to be?
To be honest, I didn't really care who comes up because a better team always wins, and yesterday it showed Order was a better team.
Okay, that's fair. And would you prefer to be facing Order versus, the Direwolves?
Just maybe Dials, but not much set preference. Like best of 5 and best ones are like completely different game, and it's gonna be like a good game either way if we verse Dials or Order. So so today we're versing Order, so it's gonna be a banger.
Do you think that benefits you as a team here? Because I think yesterday when we were watching Order, it definitely benefited them as a team in terms of their players with their experience. Do you think that the Bombers lineup here that gives you a greater advantage versus the best of ones?
A lot of us, maybe except for Luch, played a lot of best of 5s in their previous Gauntlet and stuff. So, and Jusung, Mimic has massive Gauntlet buff, so I expect him pop off. So we're gonna, the series will probably start out slow, but I'm sure we will close out the game very nice.
Sure, yeah. I think we have a lot of eyes on those lanes. Ejim, are you able to talk?
Yes, I believe I've been I've been revived in the broadcast.
Okay.
So yeah, great job, mate.
Good to have
I'm
you back.
I want to ask you about, like you mentioned, the slow start, right? Like, is that a very intentional choice coming into this one? Is it just a nature of best of 5s, or are you looking at a team like Order that benefits so heavily in Gauntlet runs and momentum that you guys want to shut that down very quickly?
So Order, I think they said it themselves in the interview. They're a bit chaotic, and like especially we haven't played a game yesterday on Sage, so it's best for me for the first game to give my guys like a slow, steady comp and scale quite nicely into mid to late game, and I don't want to put pressure on my team, so I think yeah, we have a lot of good chance that can translate into mid game especially, so yeah.
Ooh, damage onto the Sona there in the bottom lane. Still up onto Jake. We'll get some counter harass on this one.
And okay, confidence in the Gauntlet overall coming in. How are you guys feeling going up? You kind of mentioned in Pulse's question, like any opponent you're happy to face. Are you going to run the whole thing? Are you going to meet the Chiefs at MEO?
I hope we do, and we're going to take it one step at a time, and yeah, we should show the team what we're capable of today, so yeah, no dive happening. We can't.
Yeah, yeah, no dive. Yeah, and I guess the final question, or at least my final question, is Spooks is running away. Good follow up there by Wilder. Shouldn't get the kill here as Jake comes up. Yeah, my final question for you is, as I buy time because I've literally forgotten what I was going to ask you as it happened. Yeah, what did you say to your guys before going into the game? You know, did you give them a rousing speech, or do you feel like you need to say anything to them?
It's a brand new series, and anyone can take it. But if we keep calm and composed, I'm sure we're going to take the other series.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, Lucho. Best of luck on the series, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Chaotic start to the broadcast.
Yeah, you can say so, but we've recovered.
Yeah, we have. So let's take stock of a couple of things that happened. We didn't really get a chance to talk about the compositions due to a slight little technical error, but that's fine. The things going into this game, of course, was curious to me and is now kind of answered given Soulstrike's interview. I'm going to hold that thought. That stun does connect.
Yeah, got the Ruthless Predator off, even though he managed to jump away with the flash, and that will just be flag drag into kill. Yeah, first blood to Order.
Yeah, okay. Second gank is the dream here. But I was going to say, like, matching the scaling of the Jinx, right? If Order is a chaotic team coming into the Gauntlet, like, and they throw the, like, scaling 80 carry champion, they do play a lot of Xayah. She can kind of be that role somewhat, but has the, like, oh crap Featherstorm button. And yeah, Soul Strikes is just like, okay, like we want to just chill out. We don't want to go into the chaos.
Yeah.
We want to just match with something like the Sona. Because you've already seen it. Spooks has attempted to gank bottom lane, got punished by an aggressive Lee Sin, goes for the flank. He was on the other side of the map, knew what was happening when Rogue face checks a bush and then comes down here. He's like, okay, like you cannot do this anymore. But second gank is going to work out, sacking the CS in the jungle pool, but already influencing these lanes is Spooks.
Mid lane has pretty much been revolved around right now, and it's essentially even CS. There is a small advantage here to Ryoma, and you see a lot of harass going down, but also, since it is pre-first back, pretty much just going to run out of mana until they can get either a blue buff or the first trip back to base. Top lane, first blood going down onto Mimic. Really unfortunate for the Aatrox. Managed to get the flash off, but the fact that W connected didn't mean it was an easy gank for the Jarvan.
Yeah, it's one of those weird interactions where the CC lands. It's going to be a repeat though, Flash.
Yeah, I mean, no flash here for Mimic. Flag drag, Tally still chasing after as well. Gets the healing out from the Q, and it's just another kill into the top lane.
And I don't think anybody expected this style of game. In the draft, it's blind pick Jarvan and Wilder. Yes, they go for a very defensive Sona Tahm Kench to open up the jungler. They want Lee Sin to help out their very strong solo lanes, and Spooks back-to-back successful ganks to the top side. Aatrox 0-2 right now. You think of Mimic and you think of Aatrox and you think of like 1v3 potential.
Yeah.
This is a complete opposite here in this game.
I mean, it was also like high priority, right? Like Bomber's very obviously looking towards the solo lanes early on. Like this is a team who often looks to their solo lanes to be those carries, but instantly putting that pressure down onto that side lane. Like I don't think I've seen Mimic 0-2 in the lane this entire split.
No, absolutely
this
not.
Is the first time.
And you think of like Renekton build parts like Kindle Gem, super safe, but he's already ahead. Also has the Executioners calling for that healing cut. This is an ambitious 2v2.
Yeah, I mean, it's just trying to push them back. Renekton's
Here we
coming
go.
down. Tally did have the TP on this one. Looking for potential dive. Has Dominus as well. Spooks following up, but will slice and dice away. Wilder was there just in case they decided to hard commit to that one.
Yeah, couldn't quite land the CC they needed. Braum passive is basically all they have, and if you don't proc that, then the traps from Jinx is incredibly difficult to play around, and Wilder once again reads the gank is down on the bottom side. Does mean that Mimic gets some time alone in the top lane. He's now equalized CS, will maybe get a plating or two. Pending a TP from Swiffer. This is a nice play where they kind of flip the lanes just temporarily to hold on.
Yeah, grab this extra farm. It's a nice bit of time for Mimic actually to get a push into the top side and recoup some of that CS. Mid lane, Tally's now going to be in this 1v1, which he doesn't necessarily want to be in for a long time, but we'll be able to at least collect this wave as Ryoma pushes it in here.
Yeah, certainly is. I expect once the waves get pushed out, maybe Spooks like walking into one of these lanes, forcing the prio, and then they just walk back. Tally just happy to concede the wave under this one. Dealing with a Syndra as a Renekton is a hard place to be. They may actually find a Lee Sin here.
Yeah, I'm not sure they have an inkling because he's going to use the blast cone to get towards top lane. Yeah, it looks like eyes are on top of an enemy blue here from Spooks and Tally. So Lee Sin will get away with the heist. Take away the red buff, move towards River, is here with Ryoma as well, so also going to be able to secure Crab, but now Spooks is in a similar situation but on blue buff.
Order should have seen Wilder walk out through that like zombie ward, used to be a pink ward, from their jungle, so they should know the play. Very nice safeguard, gets Lee Sin away from the bubble pop there, and they don't actually take away the blue buff, so that was just a straight up snaking there from Wilder. Gets the red buff, walks away, even given a level disparity. Priority mid means no contest, and they're just going to be able to pick up the blue for free as well.
Yeah, interesting first back here from Tally, actually. Kindle Gem into Executioners, calling this early into the Aatrox matchup. We're just looking to stick to this one. Also will be helpful as the game goes on as well because of the Sona pick, so it's definitely double value on this, but yeah, early pickup.
Yeah, because it's one of those things, and like Sona, like you think of support, right? But when she has AP, the healing numbers are just
quite high.
Yeah, they're just literally disgusting. Laning phase has been somewhat volatile on the bottom side, which I guess is unexpected given like the nature. It's just a Jinx versus Sona Tahm Kench, but gank attempts now will stabilize somewhat. You can see the quest completed in the hands of the Sona. Got that tier now stacking up. Does the Q land from Wilder? Can't land if it doesn't get thrown.
Yeah, that is true. You can't miss if you don't throw it. And yeah, it did have flash if he wanted to commit to that one. Tally also had his, so it's like, do I want to burn this right now for essentially a flash? You know, it's probably not going to be a kill, but or do I want to confirm a kill later with like a king flash? So held on to it in the end, but top lane giving extra pressure over the Aatrox is definitely a good thing, given that he's gone sword and board right now with the Doran's blade and shield.
Sword and board?
Yeah.
I've not heard that one before.
Sword on board. I think it's just like the
Okay.
old term when you single hand. Flag drag onto Luch. Just got to find it right here. Full combo drops him below half. Predicts the flash, and Dream gets the kill.
That's absolutely nuts. TP will be there for Luch if any sort of counter push will be the play from Order, but a cheeky kill in the hands of Jinx. The BF sword puts that damage mark just over the top. And Order spent absolutely nothing on that one. They're going to walk away with a Mountain Dragon. It's got to feel good.
Unreal. Wilder going to connect the Q here. It's going to see Dragon health, but Mimic stepping up. Feeling sleepy. Going to wake up to a lot of damage. And Wilder is still looking for this. Connects the Q onto the Dragon. Just going to wait this one out. And yeah, this will be picked up here by Order. Execute from the panel star in 10 minutes. Mountain Dragon, next one's going to be Cloud, because of course it has to be. And yeah, Rogue will make his way to the top side along with Luch here. But yeah, really impressive predict there from Dream, because there's no other way it could have been, right? It's not an accidental ultimate, like that was outside of the Cataclysm, and there were no other low health targets, so it was literally just shooting for Luch.
And it's multiple layers, right? Because there's one way he will go, and that's towards like the ramp, right? So he didn't throw it directly at the Sona where she was in the Cataclysm. And he's like, okay, if she flashes, even if she doesn't and just waits it out, that will probably connect at the end of the day. She has one expected path, so a very nice read. He's able to pick that one up, and yeah, getting a Kickstarter on the Jinx certainly feels good. Yesterday, we saw from Order, like, contentious early games. Like, they came out 15 minutes in game to game, sometimes with a lead, sometimes with a deficit, but there was always stuff happening. This was another game of Spooks on Jarvan with like the level 3 I'm looking to dive bot play.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be like a repeat to continue watching through the rest of the series, but in very few of those games has Dream, bar the Xayah one, walked away with like an advantage, right?
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
This isn't an 80 carry to 80 carry comparison, but being 1-0 up on the Jinx when you're just like farming with the clock there with the opponents, it's basically 100 to 100. That's a different story here in the early game here for Order and the Gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean, the ongoing story yesterday was like 3 kills to Spooks every game. And that's essentially how everyone started off. Spooks is actually, speaking of, moving down this river here. Herald is going to be an objective as both duo lanes are topside, so everyone is here to potentially fight if someone's going to start up on this one. In terms of teleports, Mimic's going to beat out Tani for another maybe 20-25 seconds or so. And Jake's already here carrying out these wards, so Order very much have control over this area to kick this one off.
And it is going to be a fairly interesting Rift Herald play. Fairly late already, right? Like 12 minutes has hit the clock. Normally it's like a 10-minute flip the map, bot lanes, let's go. Let's start setting it up around this play and look to take that one out, start bashing it in to get some platings. Order, you mentioned, have control of the area. Wilder is kind of lying in wait. No camps topside, just drops a pink ward, so he wants to make something happen if Spooks goes forwards.
Yeah, Wilder's waiting for this one. Wait for a second. Spooks is still trying for it, but very difficult walking straight at a Syndra who's able to just set up null spheres and just sit there and wait for you to go in and just hit you with the Scatter of the Week. So we'll back away there, and Wilder will do the same. But Herald is now being started. Dream and Jake have actually come down. Rogue is very much aware this is happening, and Wilder was obviously just mid lane, so he'll react to this one as well.
Yeah, Mimic already rotating up the river. Tally just sitting in a bush, not on vision right now, and looking to channel the TP. Eye is going to get popped by Wilder if he wants it. 3k.
Yeah, that's a Q there
Stun?
for the execute as well. Stun down onto Spooks. It's going to come down to a smite. I'm not even sure who picked it up right there.
Oh.
Q connects and Spooks will go down. Jake as well underneath that damage. Swiffer hops the wall, but Porter jumps back, and now Tani in a 1 versus 5 situation. Here comes the execute down from the Jinx, but it's not enough to kill Wilder. Dodges out of that one, does not connect onto Ryoma. And that's 3 kills onto Order, and all of a sudden, this is back in the Bomber's hands.
Yeah, completely turning this one around. Order basically just leashed the Rift Herald. I believe, given what Swiffer's doing right now, it looks like...
Jump it.
Yeah, they actually secured that one with a smite, so is going to get that one. 2 levels up on Wilder means he alone cannot stop it. So Rift Herald does get completed, but Bombers gold lead heavily back in their favor.
Yeah, we'll be able to pick this up, and yeah, Wilder was trying very hard to make it happen. It wasn't even a smite. I think someone just walked up and hit it.
And then Mimic has the perfect flank for the backside. You can see Dream has to flash away from the Rift back there. He's dealing no damage. Swiffer is dealing no damage. When Jake on the Braum like goes forward, stopwatch, and the shield comes out just to block the Syndra stun. That's so many resources they've used, and at that point, Bombers, they just steamroll the team fight. They have everybody going forwards, easily clean that one up, and now the map wide open, looking to go for the 1-3-1 setup, heading on into the mid game.
Yeah, 3-3 now, and Order basically had full control of that early game. They did still manage to pick up the Herald though, so they do have that in their back pocket to probably crack one of these towers open. Plates being down as well, so given there is a good amount of damage on some of these outer turrets, Order should be able to maintain some of that tempo.
Oh, popped it.
It will be mid lane here, the undamaged tower. No minion wave either, so it's probably going to be a charge. 4 members are here to try and step up, but take a look at Ryoma. He is here to collapse from topside, so he's going to be able to do enough interference to push Order away. So it really just was a charge.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one to look at, but when you think about the lane assignments, and there was a Syndra in the top side showing on the wave, and it's like, okay, our Rift Herald is on our mid laner, like he's really tied down to some area on the map. It's not a jungler, not a support. They can just kind of wander around. They got the bash on the most important turret on the map right now, but of course is not going to get anything off the back end of it, just a little bit of a chunk. Dragon started up. Rocket flew into topside to try and deal with some of the wave, but he's been left up there uncontested in Ryoma, just hitting away on that top turret.
Yeah, this wave's still going to crash. It will be a Dragon going over to Order once again, though. Will be Cloud into Cloud. And Swiffer making his way towards the top lane here. We'll be able to fuck this one up. But Wild is here to meet him.
Yeah, they know exactly what's going on. Swiffer doesn't have the Spell Thief cleanse anymore.
Oh, instantly flashes. Sees Wilder come out of the brush, so will burn the Dragon's Wraith, but doesn't hit the flash. To kick him back into Ryoma, so it will just be the tower going down. But yeah, good reaction time there by Swiffer, saves his own hide.
Yeah, good reaction on a very nice play there. The window was very small, but see the efficiency of that sort of gank. Wilder like walks out of his jungler. His jungle goes topside, gank immediately leaves, and is all well and good. They get the flash out. The Air Dragon, of course, was the cost on the other side, so Order this game stacking them up, but not the highest price to pay. And after that team fight, the gold swung. It was like 1k in Order's favor. Now 2,000 in the other direction. Certainly getting there for Bombers. Lucio Soulstrike was saying they want to play it slow. Hit 16 minutes with a gold lead. Certainly a good feeling.
Yeah, a lot of that is in the time catching the Lee Sin, actually, with those 2 kills. So makes a lot of sense given where the kills dropped, but yeah, has gone back to base, has picked up the Phage and the Warriors in Gen here, so is in a pretty good place on this Lee Sin. And yeah, looking to play a slow game. And I'm trying to think back to the other games that Order and Bombers have played, right? Because like obviously Order have the biggest winning record against Bombers, which is like very interesting given that the Order came in as seed 5, right, to Bombers seed 3, and having the 3-0 over them over the split is just like, well, something obviously like is a constant with Order, to hold that type of winning record.
Yeah.
Something is their kryptonite,
And I think, in all honesty, like personally, it comes down to bottom lane. Like at the start of the split, the Bombers' bottom side of the map was like significantly weaker than their top side, right? And that's not to say that I think recently, like we've been highlighting lanes like King Destiny, Raze Ayla is like the top tier OPL bottom lane talent. And Dream and Jake, last Gauntlet, absolutely popping off. Last couple of weeks of the OPL, we're in Struggle Town, and I think the crux of this matchup for me comes down to Order look, when Dream and Jake have a good game, very structured. They play the game how they want to play, and things make sense. But when it starts to falter, it's always like a comeback, clawback victory tally, though.
I mean, he hits Dominus and just dies anyway. Yeah, that's kick into Power Unleashed, and he is just dead. And that will be top tower going down here as well here to Bombers.
And 2 back-to-back plays, 2 back-to-back ganks into the top side. Ryoma collects 2 turrets off the back end, now sitting 2-0 on the Syndra. We'll go back, properly get himself some Sork Boots, have the double pen primed and ready. Jake being able to block that with a shield is going to be super impactful as this one progresses, but Order now with the response in the mid lane.
Yeah, though Bombers do have an opportunity here if they want to move into this mid lane as well. Jake will try and bring up the door and block Bombers, which he will do. Mid tower does go down to the early work of Herald into Order, revisiting it here. So it will still be 2-2 towers, but yeah, that Renekton now, a lot of pressure being put onto him. 4-3, and we still have the advantage over to Bombers in terms of gold.
Yeah, which is unexpected, right? Like, think about the early game. 2 ganks work into Mimic, and now he's probably up in gold. Right, like he's been given so much solo lane farm, just like sitting there soaking XP. He's upper level over Tally when he started this game 0-2-0. And yeah, super interesting flip here from the Bombers. Even though like the early game doesn't go their way, the ganks are succeeding there for Spooks. They just keep recommitting the resources now. It's like play around the Syndra, hits that mid-game spike. She deals so much damage. Swiffer Looking like he's about to cop a topside.
Yeah, he brings out the paddle star, will walk forwards into Ryoma through, but still connects the Q here from the Lee Sin. Finish him up. That was teleport. Also burnt though from Bombers. Mimic moving towards topside. So 3 members here while mid lane was being sieged, but Rogue and Luch able to stop it. No tower on the bot side. So Order coming out that one from a pure loss.
So many pings onto Spooks' head right now. EQ gets him over the wall.
Jarvan priority though will carry him over. Now moving
We
towards mid lane.
really talk about that a lot on the podcast.
What? Priority?
Yeah, like the Jarvan EQ. Oh, it beats everything.
I mean, it does. It literally does. I think there've been a lot of occasions. We've had like Jace moments with Thundering Blow. We've had, you know, Tristan's jump out of things. Ezreal the same. But I think it's a lot of the older champions like just override coding from the newer champions. You know, they're just so janked that they
got
just
veteran
go through everything.
status.
Exactly. Then again, you have like new Urgot and Disdain goes through everything. So
But that's like the intentional thing, right?
yeah,
That was like
yeah,
this should win.
exactly.
Because it's incredibly slow.
Whereas Tristana's wind up being able to beat everything, probably not.
Agree. We are reaching an interesting point of the game. I believe Dream should be sitting on a reasonable amount of gold. Hasn't bought in a while, is taking jungle camps. Normally that means he's close to an item spike, and when AD carries start taking away from junglers, you can see also Redemption almost done for Tahm Kench. Lichbane is being attempted, and I believe actually just picked up by the Sona.
Well, we've lost Egypt. But yeah, to finish off the conversation earlier, what I was going to talk about is like Dream. It felt like was a player who just popped off in one of the Bombers games. You know, like it felt like for Order into those Bombers matchups during the split, that it was like individual performances from Order which really just beat out Bombers a lot of the time, which is interesting to say because you look at like those solo lanes like Ryoma and Mimic, and it feels like when they're having a strong match, they'll just beat every team in the league, and that's been very evident when you look at like them versus, you know, top 2 in the league. When you look at like Chiefs, Mammoth, pretty much anybody else, like Bombers have shown that they can turn up when it counts. But yeah, Order have just had that kind of X factor sometimes, which has been able to beat them.
Yeah, certainly true. Pink ward now being contested. Stun from Syndra could be disastrous. Misses the EQ.
Wow, connects the Scatter of the Week, and he's just dead. Comes in with a crescendo as well for the assist, but Jarvan was well gone by that point. And 30-second death timer.
That was just immediate karma. The mess up on the combo means he has no in or out. Stun's actually going to land onto Dream. Huge chunk onto the Jinx, and Bomber's just walking straight up mid lane.
Yeah, they're just going to take this one with numbers advantage. Tally's still in the side lane
Stun
with
too.
teleport there. Managed to land the Dark Sphere onto Jake as well, and these are some chunked health bars. Might not even be able to stick around here, Order. Another mini wave coming in.
Tally, the only threat on the map left available for Order. Mimic is going to walk down. You saw the ping on the way, but Ryoma on this Syndra has had like a kind of an underrated game. It's just sat there, very standard laning phase. Like ganks were going bot from Spooks, were being answered by Wilder. Top the other side of the map, nothing was happening in the mid matchup. They just went very even, but as soon as the map broke open, it's like double repeat attempts from Wilder linking up that mid 2v2 coming online, and 2 kills very quickly turns into multiple stuns in a team fight, 4 and 2. Anybody that he clicks the R button on will die in this match.
Switch is going to get the pop here. Oh, dodges out of it, and Rogue even gobbles him up. Get me out of here. Moves on to the minion wave. But yeah, it feels like when Syndra is good, she's just really good, you know, in the hands of a capable player. Like getting multi-man stuns in a fight, and it's not even an ultimate ability. Like you can use ultimate to set it up, but like Scatter the Weak is such a strong ability. Swiffer walking through the enemy jungle, just has to burn flash right here, getting caught out by Bombers who are well and truly waiting for him. But Wilder's going to open up in the mid lane. Dodges out of the stun here, Spooks, and Jake will also tank this one with the door, but now with Unbreakable down, following up, and Wilder closing the gap. Mimic and Rogue turning over the Abyssal Voyage, and Jake is just dead.
Yeah, they cheat tempo. Abyssal Voyage gets him into the backside, and is a support pickup going to be enough to take a look at the Baron? Remember, as Wilder wants another piece of Spooks, there's no top lane turret, so that wave will push in and push in for days. Order has almost negative vision control this side of the map, and they're just going to start this one up.
Yeah, I don't see them being able to contest this one, really. They're going to come over now. It's down to 8,000 HP. Feels like it will probably have to be a steal attempt, but the Drowsy is good onto Ryoma. Drops him lower, but Bombers are still on this one. Down to 5k. Spooks waiting over the wall. He sees these wards. Down to 4k. Swiffer still coming in with these paddle stars, trying to harass Mimic. Down to half. Spooks Still waiting for this. 2K
He's
hops
in.
the wall, looks for the steal.
Ooh.
Secured by Mimic. And the smite was just off there by Spooks. Wilder and Spooks both used their smites. But yeah, it's the Aatrox in the end who picks it up.
Yeah, incredibly quick burst. Double smite comes down, and Bombers at the end of the day. We've seen 50-50 Barons go very, very wrong in the last couple of weeks in the OPL, but Bombers able to secure this one. There's no Alistar to play goalie, but they do enough work to keep the flashless Jarvan out of the pit, and this game just got a whole lot easier for Bombers fans. All 5 members walk away with a Baron buff. Next Dragon is a Mountain just ready to spawn. I'll have all 3 waves being able to push in. You can see the deploy immediately. Ryoma goes top. He will likely fall back and pick himself up a blue buff as well. Like, that is spawning very, very soon. And yeah, Bombers this time Kench. They have the map movements. They have everything they need to look to close this one out.
Yeah, these 50-50 Barons, though, are just making me so nervous every single time. You know, that happens to go over to Order, you know, a slight mistime on the nuke there from Bombers, and suddenly this is a different game. But yeah, maintaining that lead now is absolutely perfect for them. You're right, Dragon are going to be spawning soon. It will be yet another Mountain here. Swiffer just harassing down into this mid lane onto Ryoma as he pushes in, but this is now a very strong team here. Bombers with a lot of gold in their solo laners.
Yeah. And it's kind of an interesting interaction between these two teams, because I've hinted at it multiple times. Like, Jake has a very big pressure on him this game to be able to shield Syndra ulti.
Yeah.
Like, that is just uncontested damage that will one-hit a carry if he's not there at the right time. And simultaneously, you look at Dream as like maybe the one last member that can win a team fight here for Order, right? Like, gold lead, 6,000 in Bomber's favor, 5 Baron buffs. He's sitting on 2 items, and Swiffer will be able to land like a Q if he hits a bubble target, but getting a bubble through the front line of a Tahm Kench and Aatrox, at least Sin even, can be very difficult. And you kind of look at this Jinx, she's like very immobile, which is Syndra's absolute like best sort of target, but Jake has been there every time.
Yeah, Jake's definitely turning up in this one, but Order getting sieged in this mid lane here. Slowly trickling it down. There's a lot of annoying harass coming in from the Zoe that's just slowly clearing out this minion wave. Making it hard for Bombers really to step up to the tower. Slowly getting chunked by this cannon, but pretty good defense overall. Tally getting caught in the bot lane though. Dodges out of the last Q there from Mimic. May have just saved his life. Spooks now into the bottom lane, turns around, looks for the flag and drag. Mimic walks up, demolish proc onto tower, and this will go down mid lane the same.
I thought Mimic was thinking about it. Spooks EQs a micro step forwards, and it looked like the play was on. The dive could have been there, but turret is just going to be it. The entire inner ring now broken. Order trapped between the Bombers and their base, and this turret is already dead. Dream and Swift are 2 members, not going to be enough to defend this one.
Whoa.
Or are they? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, caught Swiffer on the Scout of the Week there, but yeah, Sone's going to step up. That's the tower down. Dark Spear is on the floor, and Jake has to back away from this one as well. And this will be the first inhibitor dropping. And that was a hell of a Baron push, honestly. That's tower, inhib, tower, tower. Now looking towards Tally in the mid lane. And Bombers, if they crack 2 inhibs here, this is an absurd Baron power play.
Even 1 is a huge deal right now. Remember, like, the Sona team comp has not happened. We haven't seen a full 5 versus 5 where Luch is just W spam, head on keyboard, keeping everyone alive. This has not yet been the dream scenario here for Bombers, and they're just in such a commanding position. Gold lead explodes to 7,000. Base is broken. I mentioned it before, but Dream really the one carry that can turn a team fight around, and hasn't been given that opportunity. It's been very safe play here, bar the 50-50 Baron. Maybe not the safest call that you can make, but results-based analysis, that one worked out a treat, and they're just chilling right now.
I mean, it's still safe if you get it 100% of the time, right? And that's what we're sitting in right now. Bombers still very much with the lead, 7k advantage, with inhibitor down. We're probably going to be seeing another Baron in this game for sure. Dragon will be spawning as well. Actually, our Dragon went over to Bombers, so an extra Mountain is definitely going to help their cause here. And yeah, we're pretty much just waiting now. Minute 45 until this next Baron. There are still 3 blue trinkets in the Baron pit that were placed down in that last contest.
I mean, when he's dead, there's no reason to go back there. Not really effective vision, but still just chilling nonetheless. A minute 30 on the respawn, and interesting, the Bombers are actually looking to contest bot side. I believe the play here is actually super smart. If you, as Bombers, the winning team right now, just hard force bottom lane, you A, set up vision control for your weak side that will be Mimic in a couple of minutes. When you flip the map, you go back to Baron, he'll have like the remnants of this vision, but this is just a straight up engage.
Yeah, Order see their opportunity, but they whiff the fissure. Jake low, and yeah, Lee Sin's gonna fall for
Wilder.
this one. Chucks out the ultimate, but he should disengage from this. Lee Sin's dead. Tani into this pit right now, putting the Tam Kench to sleep. Will force him down, and this is 2 kills over to Order right now as they run down another, but Swiffer still chasing after Mimic, caught in his crossfire. Ryoma's gonna go down, and this is, again, Mimic put to sleep here, and Order should be able to clean up this last kill. That's 4 kills for 2.
Yeah, out of nowhere, it looked like the engage was not going to land. Rogue on the Tam Kench just denies the initial Fisher from Jake, but Wilder unfortunately whiffs on the punish. Their carries Mobile Sona was not enough to keep them up, and this is the moment, right? Very good Devour from Rogue, keeps them safe. But then the big mistake just coming up, Wilder flies into the back line, doesn't look for the kick onto a carry into the rest of his team, just wants the execute and didn't even get it. So Dream gets excited on the passive. Nobody can contest him at this point. Braum passive concussive blows on someone like an Aatrox in the back line just denies all threat as soon as your team has to walk away. And Mimic, we saw it earlier, at a flank, he demolishes the back end of a team fight. This time is not the play, and Bombers, their lead all but gone.
And Order just opened up to the Baron, which had just spawned.
There's a TP in the base. There's a double TP in the
It
base.
is. They're actually trying to end the game right now. Order up against the clock. Wilder was trying to get the steal off there, but now he's just stopping these recalls. 4 seconds on these teleports. It's going to be one tower. Looks like Mimic and Lucha will run away from this one, and maybe getting Lee Sin on the backside of this. Mistiming the zap, though, and Ryoma will walk up and detonate Dream. Rogue here stopping the recall of the Jarvan. He's going to juke into the jungle and see if he can find that time to recall. Where the rest of the team can catch up to him, but Rogue is here also with the 2 people attacking the base, but Spooks is opening up a lot of distance. Recalling. Where's the tongue lash?
Sweep
Ward
up.
over the wall. Yeah, we'll have to stop the recall once again. Flag drag into lane. Waiting for this one before the minion wave hits, and should make it. There we go. Makes it back to base, but that was, yeah, a heck of a sequence of events.
Yeah, straight out of replay into absolute shenanigans. Bombers, they think they can cancel enough recalls to just straight up get the end. An ambitious play here from Luch and Mimic to just go flying into the Nexus. Does mean that Order going to walk away with a Baron buff on multiple members. Dream dies, yes, but he'll always be grouped up with somebody else with a buff. And a gold lead, a team fight went one way, and all of a sudden 4K in the hands of Bombers doesn't look like the biggest threat right now. Yes, they pick up another dragon, but Dream is absolutely massive on this Jinx. Got himself the Hex Drinker. Another team fight gone wrong, and this game could just completely turn on its head. Yeah,
this Jinx is very big. And you can see that cleanup potential there as well. You know, it felt like even though Order didn't get the perfect engage, that Ryoma almost gets one-tapped by Swiffer. Burnt his flash to try and make that happen.
That was real flash.
And now Mimic is actually chasing after. Burns the Banshee's Veil here, but puts him to sleep. There's going to be another Paddle Star, almost just, again, one-tapping Mimic. We're talking about Dream, but Swiffer equally big here in this mid to late game.
Yeah, got himself a nice little hat there, one-tapping people left, right, and center. Top turret is going to be the play. Remember that inhib has been dead for, what, maybe like 8 minutes off cooldown, just been dead after dead. So that wave, for the first time in a very long time, actually being pushed out. Top side of the map is wrestled back here for Order. They're getting a ton of control. Ryoma, TP-less, of course, on the Syndra deployed bot means that they have a little bit extra time in Order. They may be looking for the full contest here, straight onto the base.
Yeah, I mean, Jinx, if she gets any time with a tower, just completely rips it apart. Swiffer, once again, just almost, again, detonates Luch. He'll just have to go back to base right here. Chucks out the Scatter of the Weak. Nice pulling onto Jake as well, but Spooks will walk forward. Fissure doesn't quite connect onto Mimic, but opening up some space for Tally to move forwards and Dream behind him. But it seems like Bombers have done enough, and Wilder is actually pushing forward, seeing if he can connect this Q here onto a low health Jake, but good Q there, slows down the Lee Sin. He's going to find the kick, though, onto Spooks. They found the choke point, but this has been blocked up by the Flame Chompers, and Order will make the getaway. Yeah,
they were just looking for the CC. If anything lands in a choke point, then Luch is enough to just lock the entire lineup of Order down. So it looks weird, kick into the tanks, but the fight was almost found. Unfortunately for the Bombers, lose themselves an inhib turret. Not quite the inhib as of yet, so Baron power play, not the largest base, not necessarily broken wide open, but for a game that looked handily into the Bombers' fashion, like laning phase from 10 minutes onwards was just upwards trajectory here, taking flight, some would say. And yeah, second Baron going the way of Order. This is looking to be another third Baron game. We had like a double Elder almost yesterday. Gauntlet's wild.
Gauntlet's wild, yeah, for sure. And I feel like this was kind of to be expected given the split that we had as well here in summer of 2019 in the OPL. But There's only a 3,000 gold lead to Bombers. We were just calling the 7-8K before. And Swiffer misses the Q and still almost half health Luch. Quite concerning.
How has he landed so many like paddle stars bubbles through the tank line, right? Like he's always hitting Ryoma, he's hitting Luch in the in-him somehow.
Finding these angles.
Yeah, every single time. Like the W from Sona, the spam is very useful. So if one lands, they have a couple of rotations of spells and they are back to full, but it does give a timing window, about 3 seconds where Order can look to make a play.
I mean, that's kind of the thing with Zoe as a pick, right? Like, you find those creative hits onto the backline, and suddenly the pick is just absolutely worth it, right? Compared to just like a standard mage where you don't have those opportunities, but you slowly erode the front line and then you get to the squishy interior. But Zoe can really bypass that, but it's really down to player skill, and I feel like this is always one of those picks that like Swiffer will be able to bring and be the X factor for our team, you know? And that being said, there were also a lot of bans levied at the mid lane in this game and still managed to pick up the Zoe after all of that. So into the Syndra matchup, it's done quite well. That being said, Syndra on the other side, 6-1-4, also has the potential just to nuke anybody who comes within range.
Because it kind of comes down to like a couple of CCs, right? Like if Order gets a single target one hit, because that's what the Zoe does. Dream gets excited, that's a team fight in their favor. Like Braum, Jarvan go forwards, but the punish, which has kind of been the name of the game here for Bombers, is massive. Lee kick, frontline into backline, does so much damage. If
bowling ball.
Ryoma, like bowling ball, like that's going to be a strike every time. If Ryoma lands a stun onto a carry, then it could just be a wash. So a team fight can go one way or the other at the drop of a hat. Now Bombers handily in control of the vision of the Baron pit. They haven't cleared out the sweepers as of yet. No pink ward in the pit, but surely will be soon. Luch spots them. That's value.
That is value. You think about the vision score you get from those 3 blue trinkets.
He's zooming up the ladder.
Unreal. Look at that.
Dream's on 32.
Yeah. Crushed it.
We don't want to talk about the Sightstone, but
no.
That's definitely cheating.
Yeah, but yeah, not bad for the support for the AD carry. Hey. But yeah, now looking towards this third, potentially final Baron. 36 minutes into this one, and both teams just sat into the mid lane. Swiffer's in the jungle, actually just looking for those sneaky panel stars onto a unsuspecting target.
Big stun!
As a big stun onto Tani and Jake, who blocks a lot of distance and Unbreakable, but if they get any CC onto anybody, they're basically dead. Forces the flash onto Jake as well. And Bombers crucial in that Baron setup.
Yeah, and what do they choose? Elder available, Baron available as well. Baron will be the play. Jake has to go for the recall. Tally with the TP is going to do the same. And it looks to just be the split here. Baron taken by Bombers and Order running straight towards the Dragon Pit.
And it dies so quickly, double mounted as well here for Bombers, but Order are actually just opening up onto Elder, and it's already gone. Dream does so much single target damage here, and this will be the trade.
Yeah, and we also just saw it for half a second, but Dream Rocket cancels Abyssal Voyage. It puts it on about a 10-second cooldown, and Bombers were looking for the fight after this one. Spooks goes in.
Spooks is hard forcing this, but Rogue will just get the easy devour out of this one. Meanwhile, Swiffer has found Ryoma. Ignite is ticking. Is it enough? Last tick is not quite it. Swiffer is still in the chase though. Portal jump, looks for the bubble. Spooks is still chasing. This is going to be down to the force of will. Scan of the week as well. Well played by Ryoma. Wilder coming up here as well, but Tani may have just found him, hits him with the W, and Ryoma's dead. Spooks will just run him down, and Tani didn't quite manage to finish off Wilder as he was going towards the top lane and pick onto the mid laner. Order maybe regaining some control here.
Yeah, and I don't even know how that happened. How the mid laners got into a 1 versus 1 with a team fight happening. Mimic, though, in between multiple.
Yeah, now in a 2 versus 2, there's going to be a stun down as Mimic. He flashes the wall, but the Lee Sin is dead through the Guardian Angel. That was the damage over time, though, onto the Aatrox. That'll put him also through the Guardian Angel into the kill there. And Order pick up the 3 kills off of the Elder Dragon, and this actually might be game.
Yeah, 3 kills, 30 seconds left on the death timer. Bombers had a lead for such a long time, but they want the end.
Here comes Rogue. He's going to grab the Sona. Looks like they're going to try and abduct the minion wave. Oh, they jump into the backline, but Aura say, okay, we'll just all turn around. What you were expecting here? Rogue and Luch now being zoned away single-handedly by the mid laner of Swiffer. And Order are just going to end the game.
Yeah, can they defend Dream? Ryoma up in 3 seconds. 1 man versus 4.
Tried to get the kick out of base right here. Jake's going to block all this damage. They turn onto the Nexus, and Order remain Bombers Kryptonite and take game 1.
And every single time it somehow happens. In a game with 50-50 Barons, that's not enough to swing it, but then a random team fight, Bombers with like a 6,000 gold lead.
Yep.
Swiper's tweet this morning really summed it up for me, right? Like, it's best of 5 at the end of the day. Doesn't come down to, like, team, just absolute skill, like mastery of champions, individuals coming together. And Order have shown that every single time. Like, this is a bounce back from a huge deficit.
Yep.
Bombers individually, like, Ryoma is stacked. Mimic is exactly the same thing. They have so many superstar players, but one thing goes wrong, game flips on its head. How did Order win?
I don't know. I think it goes, for me, back to the conversation of, like, when you have older players with a lot of experience, they find opportunities that younger teams just don't, right? Like, 9 times out of 10, any other team in the league doesn't find an opportunity to go kill, stagger, death into win, right? Like, that just doesn't happen, and that's, like, that is the chink in the armor in the end, right? But, like, yeah, otherwise that shouldn't happen, you know? And how is this now 4-0 over Bombers over the summer split, right?
Massive.
Like, again, 5th seed versus 3rd, and it's like almost it feels like yesterday's matchup was the hurdle for Order, and now they just have Bombers' number.
Yeah, because it's also like, now think about the style of what is going to happen in the rest of the best of 5. Soul Strikes in the interview is just like, we want to slow the game down.
Yep.
Order picked Jinx, right? Like they weren't like going for like super heavy, like early skirmish style, especially in that position. And then they match with the Sona, the Tahm Kench. If they're not able to like close that out, that was the game plan they wanted, like a late game versus Order, not give them the momentum riding off yesterday's high. And if Order are able to bounce back, win that one, like what does that say for the rest of the series?
Not a lot of time to go back to the drawing board, unfortunately, for Bombers to see what they pull out in Game 2. For now, we are going to take a short break before we get to that one. When you know, single hand, flag drag onto Luch. Just gotta find it right here. Full combo drops him below half.
3K.
Yeah, that's a Q there for the execute as well. Stun down onto Spooks. It's gonna come down to a smite. I'm not even sure who picked it up right there. Q connects and Spooks will go down. Jake as well underneath that damage. Swiffer hops the wall, but Porter jumps back, and now Tani in a 1 versus 5 situation. Here comes the execute down from the Jinx, but it's not enough.
Go back to Baron. He'll have like the remnants of his vision, but this is just a straight up engage.
Yeah, Order see their opportunity, but they whiff the fissure. Jake low, and yeah, Lee Sin's gonna fall for this one. Chucks out the ultimate, but he should disengage from this. Lee Sin's dead. Tani into this pit right now, putting the Tahm Kench to sleep. Will force him down, and this is 2 kills over to Order right now as they run down another, but Swiffer still chasing after Mimic, caught in his crossfire. Ryoma's gonna go down, and this is, again, Mimic put to sleep here. And Order should be able to clean up this last kill. That's 4 kills for 2.
Yeah, but they want the end.
Here comes Rogue. He's going to grab the Sona. Looks like they're going to try and abduct the minion wave. Oh, they jump into the backline, but Order say, okay, we'll just all turn around. What you expecting here? Rogue and Luch now being zoned away single-handedly by the mid laner of Swiffer. And Order are just going to end the game.
Yeah, can they defend Dream? Ryoma up in 3 seconds. 1 man versus 4.
Tried to get the kick out of base right here. Jake's going to block all this damage. They turn onto the Nexus, and Order remain Bombers Kryptonite and take game 1.